Well, hey there, Book Talk, and welcome back to another of our live stream Q&A, Ask Me Anything Hangout sessions, where we're answering your questions every single Friday in real time at 3 p.m. Eastern. We're jumping on to answer your questions today, and boy, do we have a lot to chat about as well. We are streaming from the brand new iPhone 13 Pro Max, so let me know, do you see a difference in the quality of what you're seeing right now? I would love to hear from you as we jump in and answer your questions and chat. We are a few minutes early today because I felt like hopping on and chatting with you. So we are excited to see each and every one of you. Let me know where you're joining me from and all the good, fabulous, wonderful, fun things if TikTok decides to send this out to everybody so that we can hang out today. We've got a lot going on this week inside of the book world. Lots of things have been happening. We are working on that new announcement that we mentioned. We've got some cool things happening. I actually dropped a little bit of information over on Instagram today about the new upcoming author lifestyle website. I'm really excited for it and all the things that we are working on there. We did drop a brand new Ask Me Anything question here on TikTok, so we have already started, I have already started answering questions here on TikTok all about editing. And I had a really good question today come in about editing. When do you know when to cut fluff and when you should rewrite something or if you should leave something in? So I actually just dropped my response to that a minute ago, so you can actually go and watch that video, but it basically boils down to if it's not progressing your plot forward, if it's not moving your characters to where they're going, if it's not moving to where the end goal, then it needs to go. It's just fluff, and that just wastes readers' time. And if you're wasting readers' time, they're not going to stick around for this book or any of your upcoming books. So cutting out fluff, even if it's well written, is really, really important. So if it doesn't move things forward, it's got to go. But don't just delete it. Don't just get rid of those words. Always copy and paste that section, the paragraph, the chapter, whatever it is you're removing, into an extra Word doc, and maybe use it as a bonus scene, or maybe use it as something that could have been over on your website. So always use the words that you write, or at least prepare to use the words that you write, even if you don't use them, before you go deleting them from your main manuscript. If you're just jumping in, hello and welcome to our weekly Q&A Ask Me Anything Hangout session. I'm here on my new phone today, so I'm still kind of figuring out the logistics of like where everything is placed on this phone. But I'm answering your questions right now here in real time, and I would love to get your questions answered. You can ask anything about my books, my characters, my author life. You can ask about the publishing industry. You can ask about my favorite colors or what I'm wearing today. We have all of the time in the world, and I come with no other expectations other than to answer your questions and to serve you today. So I want to make sure this is your time. I will answer anything within reason. Now's a great time to go ahead and let me know what your questions are, because we want to make sure that we are prioritizing what you want to talk about today. And so I had a really interesting question come in about editing books and when to remove things, when to leave things, when to change things. And I did answer that in a TikTok, and I just kind of recapped a little bit, but I want to make sure that we're answering your questions. My top is super cute and very fall looking. Thank you. Isn't it adorable? It's like 3/4 sleeves. It's actually got like crisscrosses in the back, and I recently got it, and I was going to tell you where I got it from, but now I don't remember where I was shopping. So it's a new top. Thank you. Appreciate it. But it's really cute and lots of fun, and it's very like lightweight and relaxed, and it actually ties like in the front down low, so it's cute. I like it. I enjoy it. Actually, you can get a better look at it in the TikTok I just posted answering that editing question. I know I'm very high key today. I'm very pumped up. So if you've got questions, now's the time to go ahead and drop those. I would love to get them answered for you. And make sure, of course, you're bringing your friends to the party, because we don't come to the party alone. And if we start getting these live streams back up to where they used to be, where we used to have like 50, 60 people joining us, I'm going to start doing more giveaways. But we know that TikTok is like atrocious about telling people that we are live. So let people know that we're on air, hit that share button, and tell people to come join us for all of the fun. If you're just jumping in, hi and welcome to our Q&A Ask Me Anything Hangout session, where we're answering your questions in real time. I'm Cam Robinson, multi-time best-selling author. I've had the number 774 and 87 best-selling book out of every book in existence on Amazon. Once upon a time, my book was mentioned by a company, and I had 27,000 downloads of one book in 2 hours and 33,000 by the next day. And I am on the charts to this day. Like, I rank on Amazon for most of my books, and all of them have been number one in all of their categories. So I've done a lot in my time as a professional best-selling author, and I want to answer your questions. So now's the time. Go ahead and let me know that you're here, where you're joining me from, and if you've got questions, I'm answering anything within reason. I want to make sure that I'm getting your questions answered, so go ahead and drop them down below. Freedom Matthews in the house. Hey, excited that you're here and that you're joining us. Thank you for whatever's floating up on my screen. I appreciate it. And I want to make sure I'm answering your questions, so now's a great time to drop those down for me, and I'm just going to Yeah, I'm just checking on things. Here we go. Let me go ahead and actually check this out. After receiving edits of your story from a professional editor, do you have to edit again after you fix everything? It depends on how much you're changing. Once you get notes back from your professional editor, if it's just like typos and a couple of things, and you're just adding a couple of lines, you should absolutely have proofreaders go through it. They don't have to be paid professionals. They can be like bookish people who are bookish people, not like friends that are doing you a favor, but like actual readers. Have them go through and like grammar Nazi it and make sure that everything is good and like you don't have any weird things. If you're doing a major overhaul of your story where you are rewriting passages and you've got a lot of changes to make and you have to like fix things, then yes, you should be going through professional editing again. So if you're doing more along the lines of developmental edits, 100% you need to go through line editing again. If you just had some typos that you fixed with the line editing, you're probably fine. Get a couple of proofreaders and you should be good to go at that point. But you do want to make sure it is as clean as possible. So if you're doing a lot of work, that's a new story. There's a lot of potential errors in there. You do need to go through it again. And if it is something where you're just cleaning up mistakes, you're good. Get those proofreaders and move forward. Love your decorations. What are the books on your shelf? Well, they used to be all of my books. So I've written all of these stories. I've written well over 24 different books, and I used to have them facing here and like really cute and wonderful. When I moved, I have a 5 stack of bookshelves over there, and this is my 3 stack. So there's a lot of stack of bookshelves here. And I put all the pretty books over there, and I actually took the books that I had on here, and I have them on a rolling cart over there because I keep using them in all my videos. So these are just books that I got from the dollar store, and I got them because they have dust jackets on them that I could remove. So the books themselves are blank on the front and mostly blank on the spine, and then they're in different colors. So if you watch any of my social medias, you know I post a lot of videos, but photos. They're artistic-y photos of me holding books with pages flying around and like other books flying around. And so when I take those photos, what I use is, sometimes I use my books, but usually I like the blank books so that it's more artistic and you can't tell which story it is. And so I'll just use these blank covers in different colors, and I'll hold the books up and I'll take those fancy photos, which you can see on my Instagram page. And actually I can, now that I've got like a bunch of extra phones hanging out, because you all know I've got the new phone that I'm live streaming on. By the way, how does it look? Does the picture look good? Let me know. I can actually hold up my book. So like, you know, okay, it just changed to the one I just posted. Y'all, it's a thing. Let me let me scroll and see if I can find that. But we've got like the artistic-y book type things here. Apparently I haven't posted one recently, but like the flying books and all the cute things. I have posted them. What they are is Reels covers, and so when I click on them, you can't see the actual image. You see the actual reel. Oh my goodness, I just make things so difficult on myself, like that. So like you hold the book, but people don't know what it is. And this is because I have photo series where I'm doing the flying books and the artistic book things, and people buy prints of them to just like hang in their house. So I don't use my books because like very clearly that's my book, whereas this is more of like a girl reading a book in a location type thing. I'm like trying to find good ones to show you, but I use them all as real covers and you wouldn't be able to see what it is. Like, I mean, like, look at that. Again, none of these are the ones that I'm actually trying to show you. Oh my goodness, it's somewhere. That's okay. We're gonna call it a day and keep going. Let me answer more of your questions. Now is the time. Go ahead and drop your questions down below. We are answering your questions today, and we are answering anything within reason. So you can ask about my books, my characters, my author life, the publishing industry, my publishing journey. You can ask me about what I'm wearing today, which somebody did, so maybe you don't want to do that one. But you can ask like favorite colors, plans for the weekend. This is your time. I show up here every single Friday to answer your questions in real time and make sure that I am here exclusively to answer your questions. So go ahead, drop those questions down in the comments. And don't forget, we do have our moderators here, so if we got things going on, our moderators do have the power to do whatever it is that they need to do, Danielle. All right, how long does it take to design a cover? So book covers are actually really easy to design if you are a trained designer. Now, most designers take forever to create covers because they're not professional designers. They kind of picked it up as they went, they hung up a shingle and said, I'm a book cover designer. For people who have been trained, like me, it's very, very easy to create a book cover, and you know this because I used to have weekly show where we would jump on and design a book cover in under an hour, and you got to tell me what I was going to do. So it was like these big fantasy glowing covers, or it was really cool sci-fi covers, and you helped me make decisions by picking the model and the background, the colors, and the fake title, and like all the things. And every single week, we would in fact make sure we were creating a book cover together in real time. So I can create book covers in a handful of minutes to an hour. If it's a really complicated cover with like hundreds of layers, it might take an hour and a half, but it really shouldn't take more than that. So I'm working with people, when people are hiring me to design covers, they get that turnaround very, very quickly. Within a couple of days, they've got their cover, any tweaks that they need, and they're ready to move forward with their life. Whereas if you work with other cover designers, you could be waiting days to weeks to months to even years to get covers because their time management is different, or their skills inside of Photoshop are different, or whatever it happens to be. Some of them book out really far, but because I work really fast, I really don't make people wait very long because I can get things done incredibly quickly. So, what's your favorite part of self-publishing process? Making decisions and keeping all of my own money. That would be my favorite part of the self-publishing process. So you guys know I'm a hybrid author. I am both traditionally and indie published. I make way more money, get way more freedom, have way more decisions inside of the indie world than I do in the traditional world. Traditional is okay for like some things, but you gotta be real careful if you're in the trad space. Indie is good because you just get to do the things and you don't have to get permission and you don't have to wait months for people to do things and like all the stuff. And you keep all the royalties, whereas you're giving most of your royalties away to your publisher if you're working with a traditional publisher. So by far, my favorite thing is that I get to manage myself and I get to do things myself and I get to keep my money. That's what it is. What is your favorite book cover on one of your books? That is a really hard question. And sometimes people ask me this and I never know because I love them all. Like, I love The Conspiracy of Jack Frost. This is gorgeous. I love the Jaded duology cover. It's gorgeous. I love what we've done with, where is it? I'm trying to find the golden cover. Hang on. Oh, wait, did I find it? Yeah, I love the golden covers with the hair and the forest and like all the things. And there's actually some covers that I really love that I've designed for my books, but those books are not out yet, so I cannot tell you what they are. There's a really cool sci-fi one and there's a really cool fantasy one that I'm excited to show you, but they're not out on the world yet. Oh, 2 sci-fis. I got some big books coming in the next couple of months, y'all. They're big and amazing and wonderful, but I can't tell you about them yet. Keep dropping those questions. I want to answer your questions, and I will stay as long as you have questions, up to an hour today. We're here hanging out, and if you do kind of calm down with the questions, I got some stuff I can be doing today. I'm going out after this, so I'm here answering your questions in real time. If you've got questions, now is the time. I will stay as long as you are answering or asking questions. What superpower would you like to have? That's a good question. I kind of come down usually, my answers are usually either I would like the ability to fly or I would like the ability to teleport because I want to get places fast. I don't want to have to like deal with travel and like wait times and like all of this stuff. So if I could teleport, that would be amazing. But I also would I like to be a bird? Yes, I would kind of like to be able to fly in the air just for the fun of it. Not necessarily for getting me locations, but like just for the fun of it. So those would probably be my big ones, teleportation or flight. I think it would also be fun to be invisible, but only to a point. Like you walk into a room and you're invisible and you hear things you don't want to hear about yourself. I don't want that, but Oh, and of course the ability to breathe underwater. What was I thinking? Of course I'm a mermaid. I would love the ability to breathe underwater. So there we go. That's usually also what I lean into, the teleportation, the flight, or the breathing underwater. What is your favorite genre to write? Sci-fi. By far, I love writing sci-fi dystopian retellings. That's my jam. That's where I love to be. I do write lots of other things, but give me my retelling sci-fi dystopian. I love dystopia. Dystopia is what I gravitate toward to read and to write. I just love that space because it's futuristic. It's things that could really happen in our world if certain things fall into place over the next 100 years, 200 years, 500 years. And I really lean to, like, if these little stepping stones fall into place, these things really, truly could happen. I'm not a big fantasy fan in terms of reading. I write it because y'all love reading it, but, like, magic, it's not something that can actually happen. So I very much love my sci-fi dystopia. Oh, yes, breathing underwater would be amazing. I know, right? I know. What is my favorite fall activity? Good questions coming in from Danielle today. Thank you. Appreciate it. My favorite fall activity. I like apple orchards. I love going to apple orchards. I used to live up in Pennsylvania, up in the Northeast, so I definitely got, like, the best colors for the trees and, like, the red and the orange and the yellow leaves. I'm down in Virginia right now, moving towards South Carolina, but the leaves just aren't super pretty here in Virginia. It's not cute here. But I love going to apple orchards. Pumpkin patches are fun, too, but, like, apple orchards, that's my thing. Because I love apples. Like, I'm obsessed with fruits. I love fruits and vegetables. I will always gravitate toward those. So being able to go pick apples and then make apple crisp and apple pies and apple crumbles and, like, all of the apple-y things, and being able to pick up cider. I don't make my own cider. I wish I could, but I love apple cider. Like, all things apple picking. I'm here for that. That's always good. What story length do you prefer to write, and what about read? I like writing normal-sized novels because you can get more story in. You can do a little bit of a slower development on it. You can do more of a slow burn on it. I do write a lot of novellas because it's quick and it's easy and it gets to the point, and, like, it's very good. Novellas are very good training for being concise with your writing because you only have so much space to get the full story and the details and the important stuff in there and cut the fluff out. So very good training for writing. I think I prefer to write full-length novels just because I feel like I've got more time to tell and develop the story and really let the characters breathe and all of those wonderful things. So I'm a big fan of writing, like, the full-length novels. I write a lot of series, but I actually prefer standalones because I can, like, tell the story and be done and move on to the next one. In terms of reading, it depends on how much time I have. These days I don't really have time, so, like, give me a novella, because that's what I have more time for than a full-length novel, but only because of my crazy, chaotic schedule. Okay, so I want your questions. Go ahead and drop them. This is our Q&A Ask Me Anything Hangout session. We are here every single Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern answering your questions in real time. I am here for as long as you are asking questions, so we'll wrap it up when you guys slow down. Please don't slow down. I love answering your questions, and I'm joining you from my brand new phone today. I'm hanging out on an iPhone 13 Pro Max. Let me know, do you like the visual? Is this, like, clearer, crisper? Is it a good video? Let me know. Have we leveled up since last week? I want to hear from you guys. And we're answering questions about my books, my characters, my author life, the publishing industry. We're talking about my life, so if you want favorite colors or fashion, or if you want weekend plans, this is your time. I will answer anything within question. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to scroll up because I know I missed some things, and I want to make sure we're getting those answered for you. Oh, my whole phone just, like, leveled down on the power. Okay, don't know what's going on there, but thank you. Apple orchards are the best. You're going to be making applesauce. Oh my gosh, I love applesauce, and I didn't say that one. Y'all, what am I doing? But yeah, no, super fun. Always love that. Back in college, back in the day, my dorm used to go on a dorm room floor trip to an apple orchard in the fall. So for the first couple of years of college, I think it was just the first 2 years. I don't think we did it the second 2 years. But we went to an apple orchard all together, and we got to pick apples, and, like, it was cute and fun, and we did photos and, like, all the fun things. So, like, fun memories there. But I also grew up down the street from an apple orchard. So, like, my family would just hop in the car, drive around the corner, and apple orchard. So it was a lot of fun for me. How about durian fruit? I do not know what that is. I don't know what that is. I'm going to have to look that up later. Oh, okay, we've got some interesting people joining us. Do you think Jade will get any more stories? So Jade from the Jaded duology, it is a 2-book series. There will be a novella in the box set, but it's not necessarily about Jade. And that's all I'm going to say on that one. Hey, welcome to the Q&A Ask Me Anything. Now is the time to get your questions in here. I'm hanging out as long as you've got questions. We're going to answer questions about books, characters, publishing industry. We could talk about life and personal things. I'm answering anything within reason. We are here for up to an hour, but I also kind of have plans after this, so, like, if I can wrap it up early, I'm okay with that today, but if you've got questions, I'll stick around. So now's the time. Go ahead and drop them. I see we've got people joining us. Hello and welcome. Tell me where you're joining us from, because I want to hear more from you, and I want to know where you're joining me from today. Tell me what your weather's like. You know the drill. It's kind of rainy here and not super fun this weekend, which is so lame, because I had plans this weekend, like outdoors plans with events that were outside, and, like, I was going to do stuff. Not anymore. Not anymore, but I've got other things planned for later this week if it is not disgustingly rainy. So, when did the Jaded box set come out? It comes out when I decide to put it out. I have to write the novella for it first, so I'm writing a bunch of other books and doing a lot of other things. Then business stuff always comes first because my businesses make me more money than my books do, so I always make sure that I'm prioritizing my businesses, and then books will come when I have time to write them, and I'm working on a lot of different things. Y'all know that I am working on several YA books for you, an NA book for you, and if you were paying attention in my Instagram stories yesterday, I actually posted about some non-YA and non-NA things that I'm doing. It's big, it's fabulous, it's wonderful, so like, all I'm saying is that we are going to have some really cool things. Yeah, awesome. So we got some cool stuff going on, and I want to make sure we're answering your questions. Go ahead and drop those down below. Speaking of Instagram stories, if you are one of my super fans, if you want to hear more from me, if you want to see the behind the scenes of my life, if you want to see more of my puppy dog, if you want to see my travels, if you want to see the stuff that I do not post publicly on my Instagram, on my business pages, and I don't even post on my personal Facebook page, I have a super fan group of elites over on Instagram. It is free to join. You just have to tell me that you're a super fan and you want to join it. And in my Instagram stories, every once in a while, so far it's been like every day. It's not going to be every day, but like a lot. I'm going to post a lot of behind the scenes things that not everybody's going to see. It's going to be on a reserved list, and only the people on the list can see it. So I've like given behind the scenes of personal life stuff and like love life stuff and like decoration stuff. If you are over on my Instagram today, you see that I've been decorating something really cool. And I am, I know down there, my elite's getting early access to the mantle I'm decorating right now. I'm doing a lot of cool behind the scenes, so you have to request to be on the list. You just have to let me know you want to be on the list, and as long as I know that you are like an active person who follows me, I will happily go ahead and add you to that list so you can see the behind the scenes that nobody else gets to see. All right, let me go ahead and scroll back up and see what we have missed and what we are doing. Awesome. Ooh! There was a little bug. There was a little tiny bug that just flew in my face. That was super fun. It's actually been like buzzing around. I came in the door yesterday, I think it was, and I haven't been able to get rid of it yet, but we'll get it. We'll get there. Let me go ahead and answer your questions. I want to make sure we're chatting with you, so drop those questions for me down below. Do any of my plants have names? No, my plants do not have names because I have so many. I have like, I'm sure it's over 100 plants. There's so many on this bookshelf and that bookshelf and the mantle over there and the new mantle and like in the closet and like all the things. I love plants. Now here's the thing about my plants. They're all fake. There's not a single real one. If you were on my Instagram, you've seen me with one real plant, and that was my mother's house plant. Everything else is totally fake, so that I don't knock it over or drop dirt everywhere, like whatever. So I've got hundreds of them. I just rearrange them and do things with them and like all the fun, fabulous things, but no, they do not have plants. If you would like to name my plants for me, please take a screenshot of wherever, if it's this bookshelf or the other bookshelf or the mantle or whatever, and feel free to name them. I'm okay with you naming my plants. I will do my best to remember all the names. I struggle to remember some of the names of my characters, so that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying is that I will probably not remember, but I will try to name the plants if you name the plants for me. So, there you go. Hey, hello, welcome. If you're just jumping in, I'm super excited to see all of you. We are doing a Q&A, Ask Me Anything. I'm a multi-time best-selling author, and I have had the number 774 and 87 best-selling book out on Amazon out of every book in existence. I have had one of my books mentioned by somebody, and it had 27,000 downloads in 2 hours and 33,000 by the next day. If you're a fan of BookBub, they mentioned my book and just like all the things. So I have written over 24 books. All of them have been number one in all of their categories, and then I've had some overall bestsellers as well, and I want to make sure I'm getting your questions answered. We had some cool questions come in about editing, on my TikTok earlier today, so I answered that at the beginning of today's live stream and on a TikTok, but I'm answering your questions now. If you've got questions on book writing, on the publishing world, on my publishing journey, on my books or my characters, or you want to talk about my dog, my travels, my upcoming trip to somewhere special, if you want to talk about the mantle that I'm decorating right now, this is your time. I come with no expectations other than to answer your questions and to serve you while we're on these live streams every single Friday here on TikTok at 3 p.m. Eastern. So now's the time. Drop them down below. The more questions you ask, the longer I'll stay, up to an hour. And then I gotta run because I got things to do today and I'm going places. So, you know, all the fun things are happening. All right. Let me go ahead and scroll up, see what's what. Which book was the hardest to write? I get asked this like every other live stream, and I never have a good answer for it. You would think that I would sit down and like actually plan out an answer, but I don't. I think what I generally say is that Mulan Dragon Shifter was hard because I plotted the entire thing and I actually stuck to the plot rather than planting, which is in between plotting and pantsing, where I know most of what's happening or I have a good idea of like the major stepping stones and then I fill in the little things in between as I'm writing. So I did it differently to prove a point because I was educating on plotting and I showed people like the process of how I did it. So I showed them how I plotted it and then I showed them how I wrote it. So it was not that it was hard to write, but that it was mentally annoying because I had to plot, like officially plot, and I just don't like that. Oh, can I name a country for a military edit? So you're writing a book and there's a country in it? I'm not 100% certain what I'm answering here. Give me a little more information and I'll see if I can come up with a country, but like I have to come up with my own countries and it's not easy. So let's give me a little more information and I'll help you out if I can. Do you have a favorite place to write? I write right here. Like this is where I write. I'm sitting at my desk. My desk is a full-size dining room table and I've got my computer directly in front of me. My phone right now is sitting on a tripod between me and my computer, and then this is my background. This is the chair that I write in. Like this is where I write. And because I write on my laptop that's connected to a bank of like literally 10 external hard drives where I've got a ton of my content, I'm tethered. I'm stuck here. So I can't really travel while I write. Which is interesting because it may change a little bit in the not too distant future because I'm creating all this content for my YouTube page and for my TikToks and Reels about author life stuff. It's like the author lifestyle, and I'm going to be going out into the world to do a little bit of work, so we're gonna have some interesting things coming up and coming soon. So for now, I write right here, but you know, check with me in like 2 weeks and we'll see what happens. Okay, so you got a book that you're writing and you need a country name. You can call it, I almost named an actual country. I'm like, I'm making up this name. No, wait, that's an actual country. Oh gosh, you're putting me on the spot right now. So if you've got a name for a country, friends, go ahead and drop those down below. We'll let our friends choose from some really cool ones, but we're going to go with, I'm like looking at my book covers. I'm like, please help me. Please help me. This is really rough. This is not something that's easy for me to do. I'm like typing it out. I'm like a visual person. So let me, yeah, that's weird. I don't know. Can you DM me? If you DM me, I'll give you a bunch of like different names, but like putting me on the spot, I'm just totally blanking on names of things that I've written or like things that you can write or like real things like it's a thing. Woo! Friend, you're here. Look at you. I'm so glad to see you. What was the easiest book for me to write? Gosh, what was the easiest book for me to write? I'm gonna leaf through my book covers. I mean, Golden was pretty easy for me to write. Virtually Sleeping Beauty was pretty easy for me to write. Jack Frost, that one was easy. Not that, but The Sinking was pretty easy for me to write. That was probably a very easy book. Yeah. I mean, I feel like they were all fairly simplistic for me to write because I have a pretty good idea of what I'm going to be writing and where I'm going. Like, if I come up with a topic, like, I pretty much know what it is. So I would say anything that's a retelling, very easy for me to write. The things that were not retellings, a little bit harder because I had to I'm thinking specifically the Siren Wars. That one was not easy to write because I based the entire series around the title. And that one wasn't easy. But the Jaded duology is not a retelling, and that was actually easy for me to write too. I don't know. Writing comes really easy for me, so I don't know. I would need to know more about the setting of the book. I know that's what I'm struggling with too. Like, is it like a Middle Eastern country? Is it a European country? Or are we talking about like something like the United States? I'm not sure. Give us more information. Go ahead and drop that down below, and we'll see what we can do. We're collaborating here, and it's all good. Did you hit writer's block with any of your books and have to put it down for a bit? Back when I was a baby writer, yes. So I talk a lot about how to get around writer's block because as an established professional author, that's not a thing. You don't really deal with that in most cases because you've trained yourself how to write. You've trained yourself how to do things even when you are not someone who wants to do it or in a position to want to do it. If you don't have the motivation to do it, you still do it. So as an established professional author with a system for writing, never an issue. Very, very rarely an issue. As a baby writer, yes, you definitely hit those walls and you have to train yourself how to get around those. So back in the early days, what I would do was I would actually work on 2 books at once. So when I hit a wall with one book, I would stop there and just bounce to the other manuscript. This was before I was published, before I had a schedule going on with my writing or with my publishing. And I could have the freedom to just work with multiple books. So when I hit a wall with one, I would just move over here and be creative with that one. And then when I figured out the block, I would go back to that book. So I have the ability to kind of like go in different directions and do different projects at the same time, specifically because I didn't have a system and I didn't have a schedule to adhere to, so I had the creative freedom to do that. Beyonce. I look like Beyonce? Okay, I'll take that. I like that. You can stay. Hi, friend. Let's see. How similar does a book need to be to call it a retelling? So for retellings, you have to have all the main staple points. When we hear a story, we know the main information. So like Cinderella, it's a girl who has like an overarching person who is overseeing her. It doesn't necessarily have to be a stepmother, but like somebody whose protection she is under, who's treating her badly. She just wants to get away for a little bit. She has to go to the ball. She goes to the ball. She meets the prince. She runs away from the prince. In some versions, she loses the shoe. Like, she loses something so that he can go find her and identify her. He comes to look for her and, of course, doesn't recognize her for some reason, and he has to, like, identify her by the things she left behind and happily ever after. We know those staples. So when people are reading a Cinderella retelling, they're looking for those staples. It doesn't have to have every little detail, but you do have to hit the main points. So if you were to ask somebody, what is Goldilocks and the Three Bears about? They're going to give you a bullet point list of those main important things. Those are the things you have to have in there. They do not have to be in order. They don't have to be the same way. So let's just talk about my Cinderella retelling. She's an assassin. She's out to destroy the prince and his father at his engagement party. So she's going to the ball, but not to dance, not to meet the prince. She's going to unalive him. And so she's going to leave something behind. It happens to be a shoe. The shoe is going to identify her because it has a unique pattern, and when he slices her foot open as he falls chasing her, that's how he can identify her. Not by the shoe fitting, but by the shoe fitting the scar he's left on her foot. We know that he's not going to recognize her because the nanobot mask that she was wearing flies off of her face when she loses her shoe and rushes down to form a new shoe. Her face has been changed, and now we understand why he's not getting these things. And you're seeing these out of order and with a different context, but you can identify those staple things. As long as you can identify those staple pieces or those bullet points, those really important points to the story, you're good to go with a retelling. If you don't have those main points, it's not a retelling. Sorry, boo-boo. Awesome. All right, if you've got any more questions, I would love to get those answered for you. We're here hanging out, answering your questions in real time as we are chatting every single Friday for our weekly Q&A, Ask Me Anything Hangout session. We're going to hang out for just a couple of more minutes because I got things to do today. I got places to go, people to see, things to pick up. And if you want behind the scenes on that kind of thing, you can head over to my Instagram page because now I have an exclusive elite super fan system over on my Instagram, meaning in my Instagram stories, people will see the things that I'm posting normally. It's behind the scenes of author life, like, you know, all the glamorous, wonderful, lovely things. But also, I have a list of people on my Instagram. You can ask to join. It's free. I got all the things for you. And those people get access, only the people on the list get access to extra content I post in my Instagram stories. This is personalized content. We're talking about my personal life. We're sometimes talking about my love life. Sometimes we talk about my puppy dog. I take you on my travels with me. What? No, I take you on travels with me, so that you have extra bonus access to me. And sometimes you get like exclusive early looks at my books and things like that, but it's more along the lines of, I like you, KM, as a person, and I want to know more about you, and I want to be more of a part of your life. So I give you the opportunity to then engage with me on that level. And only people on the list can see it. So you actually have to actively go over and DM me and tell me you want me to put you on the list in order for you to see it. And then I show you behind the scenes that nobody else gets to see, including my friends and family, because I don't post this kind of stuff on my personal pages. They don't need to be a part of my life. Thank you. You guys get it exclusively, so all I'm saying. Hey, Sri Lanka! Hello and welcome! We're answering questions in real time as we're here hanging out today. We're staying for just a couple more minutes. Make sure you're inviting your friends to the party as we're wrapping up, in the next 10-15 minutes-ish. So now's the time. Go ahead and ask your questions. Let me know what they are down below, and we'll get those answered for you. If you're just jumping on and you're new to me, because I see we have a lot of people new to me today, I'm multi-time best-selling author KM Robinson. I've written all of these, well over 24 books. They're all #1 in all of their categories, and I've also had the number 774 and 87 best-selling book out of every book in existence on Amazon. So a lot of cool, interesting things going on, and I want to make sure that I'm answering your questions today about my books, my characters, the book world, writing, publishing, or personal stuff. If you want to know my favorite color or weekend plans or whatever it happens to be, we can talk fashion, like whatever. This is your time. I come with no expectations other than to answer your questions, whatever they happen to be. As long as they are within reason, I will answer your questions today. Oh, Morocco! Hello, Morocco. That's really cool. I love that. My dad, well before I was born, he actually went on a trip over toward you, and he got to go to Morocco for a while, and so before he died, he was like showing me all of this footage that he filmed while he was there, in like all these different places around you, and like all the fun things. So it's kind of like a really cool, like, just throwback for me. So thanks. What is my favorite dessert? I'm not much of a dessert person. I don't really like sweet things. So I typically lean more toward like fruit-based things. If I could have like a bowl of fruit, yes please. That would be my dessert. But like, like sometimes pastries with fruit in them. Scones are really good. I like some Danishes. Ice cream is really good. But I'm very limited on desserts because I don't do that. I would rather have like fruits and vegetables and just move forward with my life. Like the other night, my dinner literally was fruits and cheese and a croissant. Like that was my dinner. That's where I'm at with my life. Yay for being an adult. But yeah, good question though. Tips for choosing a magical system. When you create a magical system for a fantasy story, make a Bible. You have to have notes of everything inside of your world so you don't screw up, because there's a lot. So before you start writing, create your Bible of your magical system and know what is and is not acceptable inside of it, what does and does not work, and what version you're doing. So there's a lot of different magical systems where we've got like elementally type things or more like wizardy type things, and just like there's a lot goes into it. So you want to make sure that you are very, very clear on the structure that you're creating, and you have those notes, and you cannot screw it up, because it's so easy to mess up your magical system that you wrote, you created. But if you don't have those things to refer to, that guide, that yes or no list, you're gonna mess up somewhere. So write your notes first. Know exactly what is and is not acceptable. And when you add new things in, add it to your Bible so that you can refer back to it. And hey, if you hear that, that is my dog Jada. She is over on the hardwood floor over in the hallway here, and she is apparently standing up or like doing something. I don't know. Jada, come here. Come here, baby. I don't know what she's doing. Sorry. She gets a little nervous when she knows I'm on camera because she doesn't like me to pull her over here and show her on camera. That was a great tip. Thanks. Thank you. that was also a very good question. Now, if you have any last minute questions, now is the time to go ahead and drop those down. We are going to wrap this up, mostly because apparently my dog would like my attention, but also because I have places to be, and y'all have places to be too. So we're here every single Friday answering your questions in real time, talking books, talking publishing, talking life, and we want to make sure that we are answering your questions. So if you have any last minute questions, we are wrapping this up in the next couple of minutes. Now's the time to drop those down. P.S. and bonus. How is my footage today? Do we like it? Because I'm working on a new phone today. I've just upgraded my business line to the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and I want to know, how's the video quality compared to last week's Q&A here? Is it better? Does it look good? Do the colors look good? Am I like pixelated? Is it all perfect, or is it like the same? Let me know down in the comments below, because I want to hear from you. And if you're just jumping in, last minute questions. This is your final call. I would love to hear from you. And as we're waiting for those final questions to come in, I have a couple reminders for you. One, if you have not joined the elite group over on Instagram, make sure you let me know you want to be on that. It's personal life stuff. It is behind the scenes exclusive access to my books, like all the things, free for you to join. And it's just behind the scenes access in Instagram stories. I've been dropping some really cool TikToks and some really cool reels lately. Don't forget about those. Make sure you're leaving comments, because that helps me out. And I apparently all my old content is being kicked out on TikTok right now, and I need my help with my new stuff. So please go watch through it and leave some comments on it. I have been dropping nightly, every single night, videos on my YouTube page leading up to something really, really cool. So you want to make sure you're headed over to, it's just youtube.com/KMRobinsonBooks. This is the same for all of the social platforms. So if you're on a social platform, that's where I am. If I'm not there, I'm not on that platform, but I'm on all the platforms. So like Cam Robinson Books. Over on YouTube, nightly videos. They're author vlogs, so behind the scenes of the glamorous life of being an author. We've got publishing help. We've got writing help. We have stuff about my books. Every single night is a different topic, and I drop new videos. So every night, like every Saturday night, I'm dropping fashion for authors and for readers. And I forget my schedule. I have it actually listed so that I don't get it wrong. I think it's every Wednesday is about my books, and then like all the other cool, fabulous, wonderful things. We're also doing our live stream book fair on Amazon every single Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, where I'm inviting surprise authors to come pitch their books to you, and you can grab them right while we're on air. And we've got a lot of really cool things going on inside of my author life, so make sure you are following on Instagram and on TikTok and on YouTube, because that's where I'm dropping the majority of my content. And in my Instagram stories, I'm telling you what's coming up. So, if you want to know the schedule, if you want to know what's happening, that's definitely the best place to get information. But please leave me questions on TikTok. I'm answering questions over the course of the next couple of days. And I want to make sure I'm answering your writing or life questions as well. And if you've got questions or comments, now's a great time to let me know. I definitely need to catch up on your posts. Yes, please. Runs to Insta. Yes. And thank you for the fashion-y compliments today, too, as well. We will see you again in the following locations. So here we go. Ready? Okay. So, hang on. To hang out with me over the course of the next week, here's what you need to know. We are going to be live on Instagram on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern doing a Q&A. We're live Tuesday at 6 p.m. on Amazon doing Book Fair Live. We are live, I was going to say one of my other live streams. That's not for you guys. It could be for you guys, but it's not book stuff. We're live every Friday here at 3 p.m. Eastern, open Q&A. We are live in a lot of different places. Now I've just totally forgotten my schedule because I'm live streaming every day on all of my platforms. It's a real thing. Whew, there's a lot that goes into it. But hang out with me. If you want the schedule, go ahead and send me a DM and I'll send it to you. Or watch my Instagram stories because I tell you what's coming up. All right, friends, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate each and every one of you being here today, asking all the great questions. I'll see you again for our next live stream here Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern and Tuesdays, 3 p.m. Eastern on Instagram, and all the other good, fabulous, wonderful, likewise conversations and Amazon live streams and book fairs and all the cool, fabulous things. So major things coming. If you want to be a part of the elites on my Instagram page, DM me, and I will see you in the next live stream. Bye, friends.